country for the many years that we have gone through, and when I listen to my sister from Lamu, we realize indeed, yes, we have a serious issue that we need to deal, especially with our young people who have gone through radicalization, who are also part of the challenges that we are talking about. Madam Speaker, when I look at the regulations, and I want us to appreciate that our constitution and the laws that we have passed in this country are very clear laws that can guide us, even as we look at this resolution of AL number 152 of 2023. You realize, whereas that we are talking about preparing regulations or putting in regulations that can now carry in the act itself, but we know that we have the Prevention of Terrorism Act of 2012. We know that we have the Prevention of Organized Crimes Act 2010, and even the Proceeds of Crime and Anti-Money Laundering Act of 2009. Now, when we are talking about money laundering, Madam Speaker, there are many ways in this country that people are laundering money. Yes, we will look at the way they do their washes and the black, but today there is a new system, Madam Speaker, which I would wish even KRA should look at it, that you enter into a place and you want to buy something, and you're told you cannot pay by card, you can only pay by M-Pesa, and you must withdraw. And you wonder, and you ask them, why? Why can't I just go through, either you give me a till number, or a pay bill number, or I use a card? So you can shop even 100,000, and this person tells you, no, no, no. And nowadays, now they have changed now the system. They say, yes, you can pay by card, but you are supposed to pay in even for the charges. And I would wish KRA guys to look around, and there are many of these shops that are doing that, Madam Speaker. And that is how, when we started following up the money launderings that were being done through the M-Pesas and all that, this is how people changed slowly and went back into another system of still money laundering. Madam Speaker, if we want to cure this money laundering, we have to look at the small businesses. You know, you can wonder why you have a business, you don't see anything in it, but many people have opened such a business, Madam Speaker, and you'll just see the front, but the back is very critical. And I'll tell you, Madam Speaker, I am from a constituency called Dagoretti North. In Dagoretti North, I have one side where Kenyans are living very humbly. I have another side where I have my foreigners who have come in and flooded in. They do different kinds of businesses, Madam Speaker, even some houses. You can go see trucks coming in at night, but that gate will never open at daytime. And even if you go there with who, it cannot open. Funny businesses that are just happening. And so if we are talking about looking at now the law and the regulations that we are putting in, we must ask ourselves, are we able as a country even to just monitor? Which we are, Madam Speaker. And by the way, we have the best. If there is a back room that we have that you can see everything that is happening in Nairobi, it is in Kenya. We have the best security surveillance that you can monitor anything happening at any given time. And a good example, Madam Speaker, is when we lost the young accountant of Nairobi Hospital. You realized you could monitor every step that young man went. It means everything that happens within Nairobi, everything that is happening within Kilimani, you can see. So for me, I would want us, as we support the delegated committee on these regulations, and when I look at it and just read one, let's say 9, the committee shall compile a domestic list comprising of specified entities under Section 3 of the Act. And when you look at those things that they are listing down, if indeed we can follow the name, including any alias or title of the entity, the place and date of birth, the origin, if they are passport numbers or identity card numbers, your gender, physical and postal address. I align that, Madam Speaker, that when I was the Speaker in the County of Nairobi, we had done a very vigorous process with the Ministry of Housing. We were supposed to do addressing of every Kenyan, and we finalized. And it was a World Bank program, Madam Speaker, which would have helped us to understand when we have even new people coming in, you can understand. The same way when you enter the US, there is no way you can just fizzle out from there. They will know you've entered. The same way you are going to Rwanda today, those who are going, definitely the government of Rwanda will know how many people have come in, where are they. It cannot mean that us in our country, Kenya, when you enter this airport of ours, that you can just come and decide to live another life and even call yourself another name, Madam Speaker, and you are just surviving here. And that is why we are talking of this terrorism and all these things that we are talking about. These are the people who come in, Madam Speaker, and they will start some funny business, and we will find ourselves now in a crisis and crying. Madam Speaker, when you look at another, which I want us to now ask ourselves, especially on the financial institutions, that as we agree to open up business, I think it's also important to always balance both, because we cannot allow also our country to just be a dumping place. Anything that anyone brings, they dump here, they move and they move on. We have to have very serious, and I appreciate the regulations that we are now putting in, that if indeed, even when you go, if anything happens and you are in court, we have to ensure in 60 days we will have to receive information and many other things. So these regulations, Madam Speaker, come in to assist in the many challenges that we are faced, especially on obligation of financial institutions and getting to know who is this person. And I have, as I said in the morning, Madam Speaker, we have passed a few very key bills in this House. And we are hoping, as we put together even the regulations, and ensuring that when someone is doing something wrong, there is restrictions to guide in the process. As much as I will understand also, if we are not careful, we can also vilify our young people if we don't go through a very vigorous process, because sometimes we put our young people into this due to challenges that they face, and they will find themselves in court wondering, why am I in court? So, Madam Speaker, as I finalize, the most important thing that we must be asking ourselves, and we should be thanking God as we close the year, that we have seen a lot of challenges in the security sector. But indeed, our CS Kindiki, we have to also appreciate that the things he has done, surely, with the challenges of bandits, and it is unfortunate, we can talk about bandits and PS Omolo. We can talk about bandits, yet these are our people, these are our young men who we know we can deal with them, but it has become as if there's a team, and that is what we call terrorism now. You've decided to safeguard the team and do everything. So, Madam Speaker, even as we talk about everything and we appreciate, let us...
Sorry, Honorable Beatrice Elachi, what is your point of order, Honorable John Waweru?
Madam Speaker, I normally really restrain myself when the Honorable Member for Dagoretti North is on the floor, because I know she's an extremely passionate legislator, a great leader, and of course a very good neighbor. And Madam Speaker, there is nothing out of order in what she is presenting. Mine is that I am rising on a point of procedure, and I would like to request that even as she concludes, that we could call upon the mover to reply, listening to the trajectory that the debate is taking, and knowing what is needed, especially on this day being the last day of business in this House, to kindly, as she prosecutes, Madam Speaker, you can apply your discretion to call the mover to reply at a timely, in a timely manner, so that we can prosecute, we can be able to execute this business and expand of it in good time. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Kiari. You will conclude, and after that, then I'll find out whether that is the mood of the House. So you may proceed. What is out of order, Honorable?
Speaker, we are discussing a very important issue, and looking at the numbers in the House, we do not actually have quorum in the House. Huh?
Well, honorable members, I have confirmed that we do not have the requisite numbers in the House. So then I order that the bell be rung for 10 minutes.
You cannot just want to talk and you just say.
Speakers panel.